A hard one, a really hard one. I think most of the great research right now is being done in the integration of public schools. That is, that we know that we had a long effort to integrate American public schools. It was a relatively successful effort. We really reduced the segregation from the 60s through the late 80s. But because of a number of factors that happened in the 80s, including the Reagan administration putting many people on circuit courts that then struck down desegregation attempts, we know that the American public schools have become more segregated over the last couple of decades. We also know that low SES and minority kids do better in integrated environments, economically and racially, ethnically integrated environments. And so I think that that is one really important thing that we're moving toward again right now. We're really thinking about hard, like how do we create integration in our public schools, economically and racially and ethnically. But I think there are other important things that need to happen too. I think that there are a number of states, including our own state of Pennsylvania, where the per pupil expenditures vary too greatly by district. So Pennsylvania has a large local contribution to per pupil expenditures, and that means that where you grow up has a big impact on the resources you get access to in school. And so I think that that is also a really important thing that we need to change in American public schools. We really need to think about how we create equality of opportunity for everybody, and does that really mean having a public institution vary so greatly by location? And in fact, I think that there's a good argument to be made that, in fact, some kids need more access to resources than other kids. That upper middle class kids, so much of the impact of what happens to them educationally over their lifetime comes from family, that school quality doesn't matter to them nearly as much as low SES kids, for whom school quality matters tremendously in their education outcomes.
So again, we were having to use public education, and we had to wind up moving to an area that I really couldn't afford, but we had to move there because we wanted our children to get a good education. So of course I can't buy a house where I live at because I couldn't afford a house there. But I can't trust to say, well, I can go into an area that I can't afford because the education will not be up to par.